What's up, everybody? Once again, it's Brand Man Sean, and I have a snippet from a very special interview with a very special guest by the name of Yoh Phillips. If you don't know Yoh is senior writer at DJ Booth, one of the most influential hip-hop blogs in the game today. But what's so special about this snippet right here is the fact that he's talking about his time inside the Dreamville sessions. But what I really want to pull this snippet for, what's really important to focus on, is the way he's talking about how it changed his perspective. And I think it'll help a lot of you guys stop reading the game in the wrong way, stop paying attention to a lot of stuff where you don't have the full information, and then utilize that for yourself. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a little bit more detail after the clip.
You know, like you take perspective in consideration a lot. You seem to be very introspective and you seem to be very observant. You had a quote in, I actually just came across it today because I didn't know that you wrote another article about your Dreamville session. And the quote, I'm going to start here, but then we can dig into that. And you were just talking about the fact that, matter of fact, that I write it down somewhere. It don't. Let me see. You know what? This is the quote. You said, reading all the commentary on social media allowed me to see how the outside perspective was formed based on the little information showed from within. It's something I've certainly done in the past, building a structure with the bricks that were given while never allow access to the entire blueprint. There was reality, and then there was this warped version. What was thought to be, and then you talk about, there was a bigger picture though, like a picture may be worth 1,000 words, but how many of those words are true, right? Because and you were just you were speaking on how this session completely changed your perspective, right? And I want to hear how and why that changed your perspective.
There's a couple of things. I mean, the thing is, and as a journalist, you get invited to a lot of things. But a lot of things are public, and then you get invited to things that are private. Non-disclosures, you can't talk about it. They're not seen by the outside. And I've experienced both of those things, but I've never experienced going somewhere and people knew I was there and they did not have all the information. They didn't know what was going on. So I got a chance to watch as certain commentary was being formed based on what was happening inside that just wasn't true. I think one of the major conversations was about how there were no women in media was invited. I mean, that's true, but that's because no one in media was invited. I was invited through being in Atlanta and kind of knowing a bunch of people who were active during the session. So I was able to get an invitation, but they invited me as Yoh, not necessarily Yoh from DJ Booth. And then same thing kind of went with Jinx, who is on not Everyday Struggle, but State of the Culture with Joe Budden. Yeah. Jinx was able to get invited as well through knowing people and also just being in Atlanta. He was here for a time and he left and came back. So we weren't necessarily members of media, but we were there. So to kind of see this conversation being formed about members of media being present and women not being included, but again, there was no media. There were plenty of women there. There's plenty of people there. But I watched as this conversation was unfolding. And then I later heard that people had heard rumors or they saw tweets that insinuated that other men were there that weren't there, that were nowhere on the presence, they weren't at all. And it made me realize, I was like, wow, watching that unfold based on information that wasn't completely true, but seeing the discussion. And it's a necessary discussion. We should always have women wherever men are. The counterpart should always be present. It should be anywhere men can go as media that women shouldn't be able to go. That's 100% true, but to kind of see that conversation warped around something that wasn't true, I was like, whoa. I was like, how many times have I done this? How many times have I taken something based on the little information I had and try and wrap some truth around it? Try and insinuate things without having the full scope, without seeing the blueprint. I'm trying to build a house, but how can you build something with no foundation? How can you build something without knowing what the structure is? But I saw it happen, and that was one indication. And then I saw I won't say what it was, but a particular picture that came out, and I got chances to see people talk about oh, this song probably sounds like this, or this song probably sounds like that. And I was like, man, they were just sitting there talking. Not a single song was made. It wasn't even a beat playing, but they were just talking. A picture comes out, but now we're talking about what the song is like. Now we're talking about who produced it. Like we're allowing our imaginations to run wild without knowing the context of the picture. That could have just been somebody coming in saying, I hate your guts. And someone captured it all right on time. But obviously, like, that nuance isn't there. But again, I've done it too. I've seen things and I've gotten excited without even considering, like, what do I know about this? Before I even begin to get myself excited, not just tweeting about it, but like before I even get riled up about something, like, what do I know about this? Who can I contact to get this information? Who do I need to talk to? If I care enough to have thoughts on this, let me get as close to the truth about this before I start insinuating. Like someone asked me the other day, J. Cole's going to drop a song at 9 p.m. called Middle Child. And someone was like, what do you think the song means? Like, I don't know. It's just a song title. Like, we don't have anything. But that's the thing. Like, people get excited. People start thinking. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I just want to know what it is.
Yeah.
Show me what it is, right? And then I'll take it for what it is. If I don't have all the information, I'm not formulating anything. I'm not even going to consider what could be or what isn't until I get the full, because I'm not even going to get myself riled up. I'm not going to start arguing with people on Twitter about something that's not real. Like, why am I even having these conversations with y'all? Why are we going back and debating if we both don't have the full scope of the information? But yeah, that was just my thing. I got a chance to see so much of that. I got a chance to see so much of how certain people, how they move around and how they're cool, and how maybe my initial thoughts on them was based on something that wasn't completely true, you know, like, or maybe based on information that wasn't able to articulate the fullness of this person. I was like, man, we insinuate so many things about people. You know, we make up how a person is in their fullness based on little information. Someone can tweet you a certain way, and you can be like, that person's an asshole. Like, he could have been having a horrible day, and you asked a stupid question. He had a dumb reaction. But like how people are, I think we just try and create identities for people based on the information we have versus
all it is
taking them for who they are. Like, you show me who you are, and that's all I can treat you. But like, I cannot add or subtract from that. You know what I'm saying? My experience with you is my experience with you, and I'm just not projecting anymore. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm too conscious of that now to do that. And that's kind of what the piece was, man. I really wanted that article to be like, man, we sometimes get so excited about things without really considering how little we know. And if we can't have the full information, then maybe we should not get so wound up about discussions around. Like, we can have certain discussions, but just make sure those things are based on something with some legs, something with some weight, something with some truth to it, and not what we think something is. That was like what I wanted for myself. I wrote that piece as much for me as for them, because I'm like, yo, you can't be out here doing this now because you haven't seen it. Like, you do this now, like, you're really out here doing something that you know isn't accurate. And I'm not trying to move like that.
All right, so once again, that's just a small snippet from a full interview that's dropping soon with Yoh Phillips. That's actually my longest interview that I've done thus far, but I'm excited about it. I think you guys will enjoy it. But what's so important about what he was talking about right there is this different perspective that people can get just from small bits of information, how they take things out of context that are nowhere near it. And this is something that's going to be happening to you again and again as you move up in the game, but it's also something you can utilize yourself. So that's why it's important. I want you guys to see somebody talk about both sides of the situation with the reality and what people are perceiving it to be, because I think when you really understand how a lot of that goes and how that's just a part of the game, you'll be able to utilize that for yourself, for the good or the bad, but you'll also be able to protect yourself from it once you understand how things can be misconstrued. You can't stop everything when you put a lot out there, but you can control it a lot better. Stay tuned for the full interview that will be dropping soon. If you watch this after the date that I dropped the full interview, you can check the link in the description below for the full interview. And other than that, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you like, you might as well share it. And if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe. button.